Raven Nation, welcome back to the campus of Benedictine College for episode 3 of Greatness Unleashed. I'm your co-host, Collin Echols. We'll be joined by Josh Pound here in a few minutes. Got a great episode on the way, some volleyball to talk about, and some record-breaking performances from the football field as well. But it's been a couple of weeks since our previous episode, so we need to get you up to speed on what happened last week in Raven Athletics with the Raven Rewind. It was a busy week on the volleyball court. Things kicked off last Tuesday in the Ralph Nolan Gymnasium with Benedictine picking up a win over the Bethany College Fighting Swedes in sweeping fashion with scores of 25-17, 25-16, and 26-24. Barbara Teja, Lucy Drexel, and JoJo Vanderwoody all tallied double-digit kills with 15, 14, and 10 respectively. Kelly DeMillionaire picked up 5 aces. Candace Lenzen led the team in blocks with 5. Ren Van Cleve put up 38 assists, and defensively, DeMillionaire and Van Cleve marked double-figure digs with 14 and 10. Benedictine out-hit Bethany 292 to 162. Fast forward to Friday, it was a home loss for the Ravens to rival Baker 3-1. The Wildcats took sets 1, 2, and 4, 27-25, 25-20, and 25-20 again, with BC taking a narrow set 3, 25-23. Baker out-hit the Ravens 265-177. Top performers for Benedictine were Teja with 16 kills, Drexel with 11. Van Cleve put up another 35 assists, and on the defensive end, DeMillionaire and Cate Milroy led in digs with 23 and 10. The Ravens bounced back Saturday on the road against the Kansas Wesleyan Coyotes 3-2. Benedictine took sets 1 and 2 with identical 25-15 scores before dropping the third and fourth sets 26-24 and 25-22. It was a 15-12 set 5 win for BC to put the check in the win column. This time it was Drexel leading in kills with 17. Teja and Bridget O'Sullivan added 16 and 14. Van Cleve leading in assists again with 49. DeMillionaire and Van Cleve led defensively with 37 and 10 digs. Milroy not far back with 9. Last week was unkind to both men's and women's soccer. Women's soccer started off Wednesday at home against number 20 MNU with a 3-1 loss. The Ravens were held scoreless until the 63rd minute when Audrey Bolin netted the lone goal, assisted by Taya Big Knife. Benedictine won the shots and shots on goal battle 16-12 and 10-6 over the Pioneers. Men's soccer followed with a 1-0 loss to the second-ranked Pioneers of MNU after allowing an early goal in the 26th minute. The Ravens won the shots battle 18-8 and were short on the shots on goal tally 5-4. Both teams hit the road for Parkville, Missouri to face the Park Pirates. The women fared better with a 1-1 tie thanks to a goal from Rowan Yowes in the 10th minute. The Ravens held the lead until the 60th. And the men dropped another tough one with a 3-1 score. It was Evan Frank who scored the lone goal for the Ravens in the 41st minute before Park scored 3 unanswered to seal the deal. Now to the gridiron with a record-breaking performance as the number 3 Ravens topped the Clark Pride 48-10 on Saturday. Quarterback Jackson Dooley put up a whopping 422 yards passing of the team's 580 total yards on 17 completions with 5 touchdowns and 1 interception to boost the offense. Dooley completed a pass in the second quarter to Tanner Zimmerman, officially pushing him past Ryan Kelly as the all-time leading passer at Benedictine. Those 422 yards put Dooley's total at 7,961 yards. Kelly's record stood at 7,661 since 2010. Other top performances from the day: Xavier Gorgie rushed for 62 yards on 9 carries with a touchdown. The receiving game led by Zimmerman with 155 yards on just 3 catches with a score. Titan Osborne added 2 touchdowns on 95 yards. Joseph Lagafawina and Isaiah Haston each got into the end zone. Defensively, Ben Gilliland and Peyton Jobe led the team with 6 tackles each. Blake Castile added 5 with a pair of tackles for a loss. Matthew Etzel made his 2 tackles count with 1 coming via sack, and Haston made some noise in addition to his touchdown with his 4th interception of the season. We'll take a deeper dive into that record-breaking game later on in the show. For now, we're going to step aside for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Josh Pound in the studio to touch on some volleyball from this season. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Greatness Unleashed.
Welcome to the Heart of America Athletic Conference, where innovation meets tradition. Here, growth is not just measured in victories, but in the development of character and sportsmanship. Our student athletes compete at a championship level, pushing their limits every day. The Heart is committed to an uncommon student athlete experience that features some of the premier athletic programs in the NAIA. Our commitment to excellence goes beyond athletics, establishing a community of support and mentorship. But what truly sets us apart is the heart with which we play. Join us and experience the passion, the drive, and the spirit of champions. That passion and commitment extends off the playing field and into graduation. The Heart of America Athletic Conference, champions in competition, leaders in life.
Welcome back to our next segment on this week's edition of Greatness Unleashed. Josh Pound joined now by volleyball head coach Victoria Hurtt. And Coach Hurtt, thanks for taking the time to sit down with us this week and be our next featured coach. And we'll just start with it. You know, the team has started to kind of click a little bit here in the last couple of weeks. Just take us back through, you know, the start, you know, where they're at now compared to maybe where they were 2 or 3 weeks ago. Are you happy with the progress they're making?
Yeah, one of the slogans I have for this year is we want to be the best team at getting better every single day. And so when we first started out, we had a bunch of freshmen transfers. Like, no one knew, everybody was new on the court, so you can imagine how there's a lot of pieces you got to put to the puzzle. So I'm excited about where our team is. We're getting better every single week, and we're seeing it through our record. We're seeing how we're playing. We're gelling just at the right time. But you want to be playing your best volleyball in October. And so I knew that that's what was going to happen. I love how we're gelling. Our team is coming together nicely. We have a great culture, and so I'm excited about where we're at.
4th year here at Benedictine, 15-15 your first year, but then the year 2, year 3, national tournament qualifiers. Obviously, you just touched on it. Very young team this year, so not a complete reset, but probably about as close as you could get to with the number of new faces that you've brought to the program this year. So just kind of take us through what that looks like from a coaching standpoint. Like, you know, you obviously brought them here because you see their potential. But how do you kind of squeeze that potential out of them to get them to buy in, to know that there is a process, and if you just trust me, we'll be fine at the end of the season?
Yeah, I was super excited starting the season because it's all new faces. I love putting pieces together and trying to find new things to do each year. It makes it fun and interesting for me. Again, I think the biggest thing is culture and setting the standard. Hey, this is what we're about. This is what we're going to do every single day, and trust the process. I picked all these people, handpicked them. I think they're all great culture fits. They make great grades. They're great student athletes. And so it just takes time for everybody, all 16 girls, to gel. And so I think we're doing that in the right time, and I'm super excited about what they're doing.
We talk about team culture. So now 4 seasons in, you've had time to establish what that's going to mean for you as you are the leader of the program. After, you know, maybe the first couple of years, it's a blend of girls that you brought in with girls that you still inherited from the previous coaching staff. So just take us through that. I mean, what has that process been like, looked like to establish the kind of a program and the kind of team culture that fits the model of what you as the coach wants your program to look like?
Yeah, culture is everything. I think it's the foundation of every single culture. I think the foundation of every single team. I think a lot of good teams, they have a lot of talent, but their culture isn't there, so that's why they don't win games. So after my 2nd season here, going into my 3rd season where we made to the national tournament, I decided that culture had to be number 1 for us. And so setting the standard. And this year our theme is We Are One. So it's all about everybody doing their job to make that one work and making sure everybody feels valued and they understand what our core values are of the program. And so the girls this year, they decided that their 3 words were foundation, sisterhood, and relentless. And those are 3 things that we say, hey, this is what we have to do every single day to make sure that we get to our goals that we have set for us. So I think as long as you have goals, you make them to abide by those goals every single day, and you set the standard, you'll be perfectly fine.
So we've seen them kind of, you know, go through some of those growing pains. I think this last week was probably pretty indicative of those growing pains. You come out, you're able to sweep a school like Bethany, then Friday night you get beat, unfortunately, by rival Baker, but then you go on the road and you beat a Kansas Wesleyan team who beat Baker. So, does this week kind of sum up how this season's gone so far for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we're a great group. We're a fun group. I mean, sometimes, you know, when you have new people, you just don't know what you're going to get sometimes. But that's what we're working on, that consistency piece. And so I challenge them every single day, come in the same way so you can perform the same way each day. And we're learning that, and we're growing in that area, but it's something that we're still working on. A lot of teams are working on. But again, like I keep saying, like, we want to be playing our best volleyball in October, you know? So we're getting out the kinks now so that we can do that in October.
So you were, as a student-athlete, standout student-athlete at Iowa State on the volleyball team there at Iowa State, so Division I student-athlete. How do you end up coaching at Benedictine?
Oh, well, it's a long story, but Honestly, after I graduated, I wanted to play professional. I thought I was going to play until I was 40, and I had this big dream of being this professional volleyball player. And after one season, I just really wasn't into it anymore, and I decided, hey, maybe I like coaching. And so I went to my alma mater, Archbishop O'Hara High School, that's now St. Michael the Archangel, and I coached the freshman team. Like, I started out with the freshman team, and I realized very quickly that I loved coaching. And so then I became a GA at Indiana Wesleyan. I went and was an assistant at the University of New Hampshire. Then I was assistant at Midwestern State, and I said, you know what? I think I want to take a shot at head coaching. And so my friend literally texted me, and he's like, this job at Benedictine opened up. And I was like, okay, that's not too far away from Greytown, Missouri, like where I'm from. Let's try and see it. And so it just ended up working out. I believe that God's plans are perfect, and it kind of just made a big circle back around to Kansas City, closer to my family. So I'm excited about that. And Benedictine's been great, and Charlie gave me a shot of a lifetime to do what I love, and so I've been loving it ever since.
Well, you mentioned that God has a way of getting you back to where. So just, if you don't mind, just talk to us a little bit about, how much did the faith component of Benedictine weigh on you to be the first place that you were going to become as a head coach?
Yeah, I wanted to be at a place that had faith that involved in it, because I want to be able to express my faith and coach the game that I love at the same time. So this gave me the perfect world to be able to do both. I love doing devotionals with the girls. We pray before all our practices. I'm a big person in my faith, and I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. So that was really important for me to be at a school that does that. And so I'm excited to be here, and it fits me perfectly what I want.
So once you made that transition from a player to knowing that coaching was where you were going to make a living for yourself, who were some of the people that you leaned on or you took advice from in forming the coach that you're still working on becoming? Yeah,
so every single spot that I was at, from Indiana Wesleyan to New Hampshire to Midwestern State, I took every bits and pieces. I needed to go to all three of those places to even be here today. Like, if I didn't have those experiences, I wouldn't be the head coach I am today, just because I learned so much from every one of them. I would say Terry Pettit, he's a great mentor that I kind of talked to in the beginning of my head coaching. Christy Johnson-Lynch was my head coach at Iowa State. I talked to her from time to time. She's been great. Don Sullivan's been great. There's so many people that I call every now and then just to kind of get their advice. Larry Whitman, who's our sports psychologist, I talk to him for advice. So I'm always about learning. I'm always about growing, and I always want to see what other people are doing and how I can adjust and be the best person I can be, the best coach I can be for the players every single day.
Well, one of the things I'd be curious to get kind of your take on is, so, volleyball is not a sport that changes a ton. Mm-hmm. We're still playing the same way that we've been playing for a while, but it seems to me that every year, every different level, the game has kind of started to get a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So just talk about what the evolution of that looks like from even when you were a player to now being a coach, and what that's going to take to kind of continue to recruit players that are going to be able to understand that how quickly this game is being played now, even at the NAI level where we're at.
Yeah, the level is getting higher and higher every single day. People question NAI volleyball, and I'm like, come watch a match, and you'll see that it's not bad at all. The people are very, very good. So I think the serving is getting so much tougher, and people are getting bigger and stronger. I mean, just flat out. And so it's just about, can we compete with that and get the biggest, strongest people that we can, and can we serve really tough every single game? That's what it's going to be about. So recruiting has been great. I think since we have been winning and had a winning tradition these last couple of years, it's been easier, and people want to come play for Benedictine College because it's a great school. There is faith, that faith aspect. We have great majors and stuff, and then they get great volleyball as well. So it's been fun to recruit, and it hasn't been that challenging. But, of course, we have to compete with the other people in the conference. But, yeah, I mean, recruiting is recruiting at the end of the day. And our conference is considered to be one of the premier conferences in the NAI. So what has that been like as you've gotten used to coaching and knowing, okay, every year there's going to be 3 or 4, and then, hey, by the way, we just threw in another top-rated team this year and this season that you'll luckily only have to play one time because of the new structure and the change in how the conference schedule gets played. But just talk about what your experiences have been with just even the evolution of just the Heart of America Conference has been like in 4 seasons. Yeah, the Heart Conference is tough. There is no easy match. I tell the girls this every single night. Everybody's going to give you their best match. This is a great conference, and I love the competition. I'd rather play the best. That's what we want to do. If we want to be the best, we have to play against the best. So I'm excited about that. Recruiting, it does make it challenging at times because you have to get better players every single year. If they aren't better than what you have, you can't really get them because everybody's getting better. So that part is challenging, but I think the biggest thing is just sticking to what we've been doing. We want to get kids that make a great grades that are good culture fits and that are great volleyball players, and that's what we're going to stick with no matter what. As good as the conference gets, that's still going to be our motto. Great grades, a culture fit, and a great volleyball player.
Well, thank you, Coach Hurtt, for taking the time to visit with us. Coming up here after the break on this edition of Greatness Unleashed, we'll sit down with one of her seniors, and we'll maybe get a take on what Cate thinks of Coach. But we'll be right back here on Greatness Unleashed.
A lot goes into building next year's roster, from identifying top prospects to fostering relationships that lead to commitment. Recruiting is a full-time mission. WinOne brings it all together into one powerful platform. Whether you're on the road or at the office, WinOne is always within reach. Our iMessage automation makes connecting simple and efficient. Send personalized messages from your own number to every recruit on your list. Adding recruits is fast and effortless. Add as you go, upload a list, or even share a custom QR code. Visualize your roster like never before with the WinOne Depth Chart. Plan positions, customize views, and keep your recruiting strategies sharp. And just like that, you've built next year's roster. Centralized, connected, and built for success. That's recruiting with WinOne. You were built for your athletes. WinOne was built for you.
Welcome back to our next segment here on Greatness Unleashed. Josh Pound once again, now joined by senior volleyball player Cate Milroy. Cate, thanks for taking the time to sit down with us this afternoon. Hope your week has started off well.
It has.
It's just Monday, but a busy week for you guys last week. 3 games. We get into that part of the schedule where we get that pretty consistently. Now you guys have an opportunity this week to kind of take a breather before getting back into conference play on Friday and Saturday. Just take us through the start of the season so far and how, as a senior, you felt it's gone.
It's gone really fast. I can't believe it's already halfway through. It's nice that we just have conference games now, so we can really focus on those. Big game on Friday. It's just gone really fast.
So a senior now on the team, so 4 years under your belt here at Benedictine, kind of thrust into a little bit of a different role for you now. You've consistently played along that back line over your time at Benedictine, but now you kind of add that senior leadership role with all the fresh faces and new faces that we've got on the team this year. Just take us kind of through how that transition has gone from just kind of being one of the girls on the team to now being one of the girls that's looked at as a mentor for some of these young players and as somebody who's been here and done that.
So we have a lot of new girls this year, but our culture is a big thing in our program, and so just making sure people were bought in from day one, and then just making sure they were feeling comfortable at practice, at games, and now it's like they're not really freshmen anymore. Just buying into our culture and
So volleyball is obviously what you're here playing, but what are you studying when you're not playing volleyball?
I'm studying biology. I'm hoping to go to vet school after this, so I've applied, so fingers crossed. But
So what was it about veterinary medicine that was something that you decided, at what point in your time academically did you decide that was an area that you wanted to go into?
I've always wanted to. I grew up on a farm, so I've always been around animals, and I've never changed. It's always been a vet, so.
Is there a particular kind of
area? Small animal. Yep. Dogs and cats.
Well, so defensive specialist, that comes with the title of what you mean to the program. Just take us kind of through what that role encompasses through the course of a match.
So one of our words this year is actually relentless, and so all of us defensive people, we're all have relentless defense. If the ball's up, it's up. And then just starting in serve receive, you're the one that starts the play, so just focusing on getting that good pass so we can put it away.
Was volleyball something that was your sport, or did you play other sports as you were growing up?
I played basketball and soccer in high school, and I thought I wanted to play soccer in college, and then I was like, no, definitely volleyball. I'm so glad I did, but yeah.
So as you make that decision to continue to play to volleyball and up into college, what was that process like? What inevitably brought you here to Benedictine?
I wanted to stay semi-close to home. I'm from Kansas City. I wanted to go to a small school. My sister actually played volleyball at Baker, boo, but so I know I didn't want to go there, but I liked the NAIA, the small school, and close to home.
And then you've got a brother now, too, that plays baseball. So what's that kind of been like having a younger sibling here on campus with you?
I thought I would have hated it, but I'm actually really glad that we go to the same school. It's been nice because he brings his friends to games, like we get some fans. But yeah, I'm glad he goes here.
So we've touched on, you want to be a veterinarian. Hopefully after the time at Benedictine is over with, volleyball has given you the opportunity to continue your education and your collegiate career here at Benedictine. As you look back and reflect, obviously you still have a lot of stuff left in front of you. We're hoping a very deep run this season. But as you sit here and reflect, what's been the biggest, kind of surprise, I guess, would be about your Benedictine experience that maybe during that recruiting process was not something that kind of came up?
I would just say how close everyone is here, either like with professors, coaches. Everyone knows everyone here. And the connections that people have is really nice, whether that's like someone to help you with homework, or someone to get people to come to your games or whatever. And just like the fact that everyone is so close is awesome.
All right, Kate, that's all we've got. You did a great job. Thank you for taking the time, and good luck on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Coming up after the break, we'll sit down with quarterback Jackson Dooley as he set the the program record for passing yards. Got real close to the single season record, but program record for passing yards this past Saturday against Clark.
Welcome to the Heart of America Athletic Conference, where innovation meets tradition. Here, growth is not just measured in victories, but in the development of character and sportsmanship. Our student-athletes compete at a championship level, pushing their limits every day. The Heart is committed to an uncommon student-athlete experience that features some of the premier athletic programs in the NAIA. Our commitment to excellence goes beyond athletics, establishing a community of support and mentorship. But what truly sets us apart is the heart with which we play. Join us and experience the passion, the drive, and the spirit of champions. That passion and commitment extends off the playing field and into graduation. The Heart of America Athletic Conference, champions in competition, leaders in life.
Welcome back to Greatness Unleashed. Josh Pound now joined by Jackson Dooley, starting quarterback for the football team. And as you know from watching the first 3 episodes, we always try to do a coach interview, student-athlete interview, and then an alumni interview. Well, this week we weren't able to find an alum, get in touch with an alumni in time, and then right as on cue, Jackson breaks a record this past weekend against the game against Clark, and so now our all-time leading passer in program history. Just talk about, Jackson, what that means to you to kind of be the next quarterback to take over that reign.
It means a lot. I've had Benedictine has a very historic past, been around for a while. There's been a lot of guys ahead of me. I've gotten to meet a lot of them. Obviously, I was here with Garrett Kettle, who was pretty great himself, and then I've got to meet Schaefer Schutz along the way too. So it feels nice to kind of, fill that or take over those guys and pass them along the way.
Well, and we posted the graphics on social media, obviously, and then when you had a chance and the game was over with and you're on your way home from Dubuque, you posted a picture of your offensive lineman holding you out on the field. Just, obviously, you can't say enough about what that group and what that unit means to you, that the stronger that group is, the more success that you can have.
For sure, and I wasn't planning on getting held up. That was Rashad's idea, but it was a pretty good picture. And a lot of those guys, obviously, I came in with Britt, and they've been there playing and starting since I've been there. So it's been the same pretty much core group of guys. So it's pretty cool to do that with them as well.
We're four games in now. We lost a lot of that receiving core that you had gotten comfortable with, and being able to find the open guy and a couple of guys that moved on, and Jason Todd and Todd and Gathright. But now you've got a new set of guys out there. Just kind of talk what that's been like to kind of get through these next couple of games. The record passing touchdown came to I believe it was Zimmerman. So I'm always going to have a special place in my heart for tight ends. But just talk about what it's been like to kind of develop that connection with the group of guys you have this year.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, Jay-Sean and Jacob, I came with them as freshmen. And a lot of those other receivers that graduated last year, those are my good friends and came in the same class. But A lot of those guys like JoJo, Cam, LeBron, Tanner, they came in a year later, right? So I've been with them for now 4 years, and we've been building it for a while. You throw to them every day in practice, and those are some of my best friends, and I had no doubt that they'd come out and be ready to go this year.
You know, and records are cool and everything, but obviously getting the win on Saturday was the paramount of it. But were you conscious going in? Did you have an idea that you were getting close, or was it something that like you didn't even realize until afterwards?
I kind of knew after last year. Someone had told me I was close or whatever, and I never really thought of it. But before the game, my grandpa did text me, "You're like 100 and something yards away." So I was like, "Thanks, Grandpa. That feels nice to know right before I go out."
Well, and then you don't seem like the kind of guy that pressure kind of gets to you, but like, did that kind of maybe? I think, what do you think you started? You know, you connected pretty quickly on a lot of the first couple of passes that you threw. So obviously that didn't affect you at all, did it?
No, we had a good plan going in. Coach Hauser did a great job scripting a lot of things up from some good passes, getting some easy completions to get me going. Obviously, I knew that I was close, but in warm-ups you feel it. But after the first pass, after the first snap, you're not worried about breaking some old record.
So as we say, 4 games in, really kind of starting to hit stride, and as we start progressing through the season, what are some things that you think the team still needs to kind of clean up on as we kind of get into the weeds of the season here over the next couple of weeks?
I'd probably say just continuing. We've done a good job of starting fast a lot of games. Our first couple drives have been pretty good, but we've stalled out a couple drives with some penalties or some running plays or pass plays that just aren't working. So just keeping that consistency out throughout the game and kind of keeping the pressure on the other teams.
Well, so we'll kind of just switch gears a little bit. Obviously, you come from Lawrence, so not all that far away from Atchison, but also basically the backyard for one of our bigger rivals. How did you come to Benedictine? How did Benedictine come on your radar as a place that you wanted to continue playing your career?
So my dad is the head men's basketball coach at Baker, our rivals. So I've been around the Hurtt and the NAI for, all 22 years of my life. So, and getting recruited, I never thought I'd come to Benedictine. Never really liked Benedictine as a young kid. They always seemed to beat my dad. So I never really liked him. And I even remember on my visit coming here, and my mom told me after a couple years ago that when she came here, she was like, we're never going to come to Benedictine, right? And then you step on campus, and you're like, oh, this isn't normal. This is a different place. And we could see what Coach Osborne had planned and what he was planning to build, and it just felt right.
So you haven't, growing up like that, having been involved with your dad being at Baker, do you have any friends that went to Baker for school, or did a lot of your friends opt to go to different bigger schools?
My class in high school, we had a lot of guys go play college football and other college sports. A lot of them went to bigger schools like KU and some MIAA schools, but I had a couple guys go to Baker. Actually, Baker's quarterback right now, Truman Julesgaard's one of my best friends. He was my back. He was a year younger, so he was the backup in high school, and still talk to him every day, every other day. He's one of my good friends, but so yeah, I had a couple guys go there, but there was no love lost.
Let's say that friends growing up, but then you become rivals in college. How's that? You talk to him, quite a bit. How's that dynamic the week of the game? Are there maybe some less conversations that week, or do you still just kind of keep it like, hey, we've been friends longer than we've been competitors? We'll just we'll get through this week and then we'll move on with life.
Yeah, usually the week of, there's not a lot of talking, but after the game for sure, and then throughout the season, we'll check up on each other. So
once you made the decision to come here, you start out as a backup. You kind of thrusted. I think the game that everybody would point to that you were kind of thrust into the big role was the first year we played against Morningside. Just take us back through what that experience was like to come in as a reserve kind of role, and then basically once they gave you the keys to the offense, you kind of just took it and ran, didn't you?
Yeah, like I said, I had a lot of the older guys, Luke and Garrett, ahead of me when my first couple years, and they prepared me good enough to be ready to go. And it sucked. Luke had a little injury and just struggled at the beginning. I hate that for Luke. I love the guy, but just going out there, it's weird when you go to college, you don't play for a while. You get into a game, you realize, oh, I haven't played football in 4 years. So, and then just once you get that first pass, you're like, oh, I can do this. It's still football.
So you talked about what the experience was like for you to get recruited to play at Benedictine. Now that you've been here, if you sat down with an incoming freshman or an incoming recruit, what would be some of the things that you would kind of help them understand that what makes Benedictine the place that they should continue their career?
It's hard because this place is so special. I mean, I've met some people, some of the best friends of my entire life here. My best friend probably here is Braden, who's also a quarterback. So, you get here as a freshman and you're like, all right, this is the guy I have to beat out. And then you slowly realize, like, it's so much bigger than that. There's just so many friendships and so many brotherhoods, like, what do you say, like, that's grown throughout your time here. And just the school, people love Benedictine. You know, it's weird for small schools. A lot of people go to college and they just get to the degree, but here people actually love the school and what we're doing.
Well, Jackson, thanks for taking some time. Good luck in this next week of prep for Peru State, and good luck the rest of the season.
Awesome. Thank you.
Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at what we got left here on the schedule as we get ready to head into Family Weekend coming up here on the campus of Benedictine College.
A lot goes into building next year's roster. From identifying top prospects to fostering relationships that lead to commitment, recruiting is a full-time mission. WinOne brings it all together into one powerful platform. Whether you're on the road or at the office, WinOne is always within reach. Our iMessage automation makes connecting simple and efficient. Send personalized messages from your own number to every recruit on your list. Adding recruits is fast and effortless. Add as you go, upload a list, or even share a custom QR code. Visualize your roster like never before with the WinOne Depth Chart. Plan positions, customize views, and keep your recruiting strategies sharp. And just like that, you've built next year's roster. Centralized, connected, and built for success. That's recruiting with WinOne. You were built for your athletes. WinOne was built for you.
Welcome back to our final segment here on this week's edition of Greatness Unleashed. We'll take a look at what's coming up here in and around campus as we take a look at this coming week's schedule here in Raven Athletics. We get back into the action on the road on Wednesday evening as men's and women's soccer travels down to Baldwin City. The Raven women will take on Baker at 5 p.m., followed by another nationally ranked opponent for the Raven men as they will take on the number 23 ranked Wildcats at 7:30. Off until Friday when cross country travels to Gans Creek for the Gans Creek Classic in Columbia, Missouri. Volleyball will return to the Ralph Nolan Gymnasium at 7 p.m. on Friday night as they play conference opponent Mount Mercy. And then on Saturday, it's Family Weekend. That starts at 9 a.m. with a junior varsity game against Clark Volleyball, followed by the varsity match at 11. And then we have football taking on Peru State College at 1 p.m. here at Larry Wilcox Stadium. We'll close out the night as women's soccer takes on William Penn at 5 p.m., followed by the men's match against number 8 William Penn at 7:30. That'll do it on this latest edition of Greatness Unleashed. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and we'll see you in 2 weeks here from the campus of Benedictine College.